actually meet us within the work that we're doing in the water. We basically understand from this kind of work that people first, they really need to feel physiological comfort. And this is where we also understand that if people are in a place where, for example, the water are really cold, or we somehow people had continuing from what Violetta was speaking about last meeting. Somebody is doing some kind of fasting for 2 weeks because they want to look good in the bathing suit, but eventually when they're coming to the water, they're already so hungry that they cannot even relax into it. Or maybe they've been sleeping deprived because different reasons. And all of those motivation will create the fact that the person becoming to attend in the water, or generally, will not be able to go into any kind of a deeper level of self-fulfillment from the session, because just the basic essence of themselves. We spoke last meeting about the reptile brain that is actually dominating us more than just the sophisticated part of our brain. And as long as the reptile brain is not fed, all the rest of the systems are kind of like closed down. We cannot evolve onwards. Now, once we are moving from that place of the very primary needs, we're going into the place of safety. And safety is also a very, very big part of the interaction that we're having in the water. If people will not feel safe in the opening conversation, if they will not feel safe in the space, if they will not feel safe with our intention, if they will not feel safe with the weather, with the situation, with the conditions of the water that are maybe dirty or chlorinized, or like so many different reasons, we can really be the best givers in the world, but it will not pierce through. It will just stay on a very superficial end because people will just not feel safe in the space. Afterwards came also this aspect of the social aspect of things. This is meeting what we were speaking so far about being accepted. And like it's the whole concept of acceptance for what we are. This is a very big theme, huh? This is a theme that we are carrying with ourselves from childhood, in front of course, the relationship, the immediate relationship that we have with the people that are closest to us, grandparents, parents, brothers, sisters. If we are seen, if we are good enough, it starts there and just continue for many of us. It continue on the whole life process. And this is also where it meets us. If I'm a person that have big questions, if I'm good enough, if I will go to receive a therapy, I will keep on having that thing coming up. Am I good enough? Am I good enough? Am I good enough? And if I will go to offer therapy to others, and I will go to study a few courses, and I honestly, I know an extended number of practitioners that they studied already 1,000, maybe 2,000 hours of courses, of techniques, of how to give what they want to offer. But the answer, if I'm good enough at the moment that I'm giving, was not receiving enough attention, not by themselves and not by their teachers. And unfortunately, you cannot gain enough certification to give yourself this credit that what you're doing is actually good enough.
Very true.
Um,
You need to give yourself the certification.
you must do. You must do, but you know it's almost a paradox, because to give yourself a certification that you're good enough, you need to evaluate yourself also as a good enough to give certification.
Everything is these paradoxes and loops. Yes, mamash.
And only when you can evaluate yourself as good enough to give certification for yourself, then you can actually certificate yourself as being good enough for that moment. And I hope that I'm not creating any sorrow or deep feeling in any of you, but maybe also the good news is that we will not close this topic. We will keep on finding a way to keep on reevaluating all of ourselves as good enough. Like if we can finish this year of being together and feeling that we are good enough with what we are offering, even if we are still not mastering it completely, I will feel very good about the process that we're doing together. Because no matter how much knowledge that you will have, you will not be able to give a sense of being good enough to your clients unless you have some kind, maybe not full sense of being good enough, but some kind of sense of I'm good enough while you are being with them together. You cannot transmit a sense of you are good enough to your client as long as you are not feeling that you are somehow good enough as well. And this is something that is very present. If we are looking, usually people that have a lot of criticism about others are people that having a lot of self-criticism about themselves as well. There is not a way that I am aware of to separate one thing from the other. But if this is the situation, perhaps we can say, okay, let's just really make an extra super duper effort to love ourselves more, or to at least accept ourselves more. Because we are also made from parts that are beautiful and parts that are really not beautiful. But then we can just, and if we can be in a place that is really in acceptance to what exists and what there is, and we already transmitted a sense of physiological comfort and safety and acceptance to the people that we are with in the water, then something about the self-realization is already starting to happen just by us acknowledging them. And it doesn't even need to be this, we saw in the video, this guy standing on the stage and making the performance. What is really looking for is acknowledgement for what he is. And the fact that we can offer to the people that are with us in the water the option to feel acknowledged by ourselves without, even before the sense of, okay, what I think about it and how can I give them, just to acknowledge there is sadness, there is happiness, there is flow, there is movement, there is life, there is anger. It's so beautiful when you can just be acknowledged without all the other taggings that come together with it. It also creates sense of shame or guilt or hiding or And then self-realization can happen through that. And if you notice, in most of what I said so far, there is almost no need to have any extra skill. It's already just like a build-up thing that exists with understanding of how to deal with other people. And I find it fascinating. I find it extraordinary, like how tangible it could be if we don't put our focus on other things that just make our mind more complex. How things should look like, how a good session should look like, how the perfect movement should look like, how an ideal sequence will look like. And honestly, when I'm listening to most of the students that are coming to share with me about their experience or about their difficulties in their practice, is mostly about that. I wasn't sure what is the next movement to do. I didn't know if I'm doing it in the right way. Now, honestly saying, it's human to have all of these doubts as well, but it just also shows us how much of dealing with those personalized issues are really actually making a great barrier between the reason that we are here to begin with. If this is the reason that we are here to begin with, if we are here to support other people, dealing with all of this I am is almost irrelevant. Yes, Shali Givati.
But I think that obviously it's not like completely black and white. I mean, for me, this way is a new way, and I'm only starting to learn. And yes, I don't feel comfortable now to give sessions because I know that there is a lot to learn. I mean, I don't feel like someone that goes to a day or even 10 days or even 30 can, I mean, obviously there's something I can do, but people are looking for something from, I don't know, when they want to go to a water session or something. So yes, I agree. There is a lot of inner work to do about me, and it's not about me and I'm here to give, but also there is a certain knowledge that should be there.
That what?
That should
It
be
should be
there.
there. Should be there. Yes, I hear what you say, Shali. Maybe we'll open a little bit more space for other people to say their comments, and before I will share my mine as well. But thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing, Shali. I hear from you that you're saying that there is still space for more knowledge and things to come, because after a few days we can still not master it, and there is still need to be in touch with the things that we are missing on the level of the execution of actually performing of doing what we want to do. And you're also mentioning that people might have certain expectation from the session. Okay. Just want to write to myself expectations and purpose.
מיכל, באת לעשות צחוקים?
No, it's true. Because it's beyond the knowledge. It's like the knowing, it's in reference to what you said before. It popped up to my mind. זה לא צחוקים.
Thank you. Any one of the other ladies want to add something from their own thoughts or?
I had a question.
Feeling? Yes, Michal.
About the acknowledging. So if you acknowledge, when you acknowledge, because you want the person, the receiver, to know you acknowledged. it, that you're seeing them. So, like, do you find that you usually verbalize it, or you just, they feel you acknowledging them, or?
During the conversation, I acknowledge it, and during the part that is non-verbal, I feel that it exists, and I feel that already by itself have a certain ripple on the situation.
Yeah, not in the water, but but during a conversation, because
Yes.
I find myself more in this when people share like stuff that might be harder, not responding, and yes, like I acknowledge it, of course, and I'm there with them, but not replying with words. And sometimes I'm questioning myself if they feel acknowledged.
Great point. We will not speak about it so much in this meeting, but we'll have a whole meeting, or maybe even a double meeting that will go around this topic. So we're putting the seed and it will come.
Acknowledge is compreendido.
Acknowledge is reconnaissance.
And in Hebrew, זה הכרה.
כן. להכיר ב. And in Thai language, what will be the word for acknowledge?
Acknowledge, it's from knowledge. But you can acknowledge a feeling, yeah? It's like seeing someone.
Recognize. In Portuguese, actually, you say kind of like to recognize that it's there. Maybe Shiley can check already with ChatGPT about it.
What are we looking at the translation for acknowledge?
Eve is checking how we say acknowledge in Thai, and later Figen will do in Turkish because she will have the recording that also, if some of you would want, there is for 1 more week.
And in Sanskrit, we could have.
Yes, Eve?
Yes, I think it's me. รับทราบ
Lapsa.
Yeah, รับทราบ This one, right? Acknowledge.
Yes,
Yeah, it's รับทราบ
Lapsa. Okay. Deep. Okay, so I want to acknowledge what I want to acknowledge the paradox that Shiley also referred to, that I mentioned, and I refer to, and I will become like the closing also for today for the topics that we'll touch in our meeting. But it's not finalizing. We're going to close it for now, but then we're going to, of course, continue with it because it's big theme. So Shiley is mentioning the fact that there is a level of there is expectations that come from the receivers, and there is a level of practice that come from the giver, right, Shiley? Okay. Now, when it comes to the expectation from the receiver, I feel that this is one of the biggest level of like the barriers that many givers are putting in front of themselves. It's like a wall that we put in front of our continuation, that we choose to put it because we have ideas. I assume that my receiver is expecting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And because I'm assuming that my receiver is expecting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm bounding myself to fulfill the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because I want to fulfill their expectations that I'm assuming that they have. And this is a very complex situation. It's not only a complex situation for a giver-receiver, it's a very complex situation for any kind of relationship that we have. Boyfriend, girlfriend, girlfriend, mother, daughter, Even with myself, sometimes I have like my voice that is saying one thing and another voice that is assuming that there is another thing that I need to take into consideration. And already with myself, I'm starting to go into corners, which unfortunately are based only on assumption. And assumptions is like a root cause of so many suffering that I really want to invite all of us throughout this process that we are in. And we will. I'm not going to go into it fully today, but we will start to get good verbal communication tools, how to make sure that we delete assumptions and we transform them into some kind of exclamation points through very easy checkings that we can do. Because if now somebody that come to the water, it's his very first session, all of the expectation that they can have is based on like videos or whatever, but it can never match whatever they will feel. And I can say from my side, as a person that is already doing this path for almost 20 years and invested thousands of hours of classes and whatnot, I meet continuously people that never had any background whatsoever, that are holding other people in the water for like some period of time. And the people that receive from them are coming out and saying, wow, it's amazing, I can't believe it. And I'm keep on asking myself, why did I waste all of this time to study this and practice this? Like people that doesn't know anything can do the same. And of course, it's not the fully truth, because, of course, that once we can really start to have the tools how to do it and how to ask the questions and how to attend the needs and how to be aware of all of these things, we can do so much more. And you know what? I even put like some kind of question mark about it because I don't really know. Honestly, I believe so. But as long as people are coming into something that they don't know, I have the expectation because I already had a good session and I had some things that I'm basing my experience on. People that are coming are really coming a flat paper. They don't know any movement. They don't know how a good movement feels like it. They don't know how a bad movement is feeling like. They don't know if they will go underwater. What does it even mean to go underwater? They don't know they don't know nothing. We are bringing all the expectations because we have some experience and we saw different things and we're already creating in our mind what might be their expectations that are coming with. Even if we'll just hold them and not touch them, but just allow them to float and kind of like having a pillow and take them down after 45 minutes, they might think, oh, wow, this is water therapy. Thank you for sharing. And it's funny. We are recreating people's conceptual mind about what is water therapy. Every time that you're meeting a person that never received it, you're just receiving a black paper, and in a way, you are drawing on it whatever you want to create from it. And this for them will be like, what is water therapy for that time? And unless they will meet like another person that will say, I'm practicing something completely different. And I do, and I receive people for session that what they receive and what I will probably give, a part of the fact that it's being done in the water between two people really almost doesn't have to do nothing with one another. And then we're recreating a concept. What is water therapy together? But we are all of those expectations that we feel that we are standing in front, we really need to remember it's ourself making believe that there is demons underneath the bed that are standing there in the dark and are going to catch us or to eat us. One second. And when it comes into practice, Charlie, you are 1000% right. If you will not practice what you know to do again and 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 again, your ability to give it in a smooth way will not become better. It's correct. It doesn't mean that you need to do 1,000 things. You can even do just one thing again and again and again and again. That one thing that you give will be good. For me, honestly, when I go to restaurants that have 75 dishes on their menu, many times I just close the menu and go away. It's not in my interest. I cannot trust that nobody can make so many different dishes so perfectly in the moment. I feel more comfortable when I go to a restaurant that have only 3 things, but they're doing it the best in the city. But, even if you do want to serve 75 different dishes, and I will say, blessings, like, do it, but you really need to practice. Not only 75 things, you need to practice the 75 the other 74 things. Because you need also to know how to transition from all of the things and how they can be interconnected between themselves. And honestly, even if you think that you're going to master all of them, it still doesn't mean that you will really be attentive enough to the safety and acknowledgement of the person in your hands, because might find yourself a little bit stuck in the trap of what is the next movement that I need to do to make it even better. But to make what better? To make your performance better, or to make the feeling of your receiver better? What are you looking for? And after being trapped in this maze is this place that you go and you're looking for the thing, and you keep on losing yourself on the way. After being trapped for many, many years in this maze and seeing people that are friends of mine that are still deeply in the maze. And honestly, guys, I'm together on the same boat, but at least I recognize the fact that it is a maze. And I'm saying, if it is a maze, let's just stop in the place that we are and be with this for a moment. Because even if I will keep on running, I will just find myself coming to the same point again. And I feel that here something really shifted drastically in my sessions. And I still, honestly, sometimes I still sometimes find myself asking, what is it even good for? Like, what am I doing here? And I feel that it's good that I have these inquiries, because maybe otherwise everything will come like stop.
Because what?
Because maybe otherwise all of this capacity of progression will stop. And also, funnily enough, many times when those questions are coming, the session ends and people just have like so much to say about the journey that they've been through. Yeah.
Do you mention, I remember it was spoken of, but do you mention in the opening conversation the fact that this technique is with less movement if someone already had a few sessions before?
If they had few sessions before with people that are practicing different things and they're saying that their willingness is to relax by the end of the session, then I will mention that they might notice that we're having less movement. But then we also need to make sure that they really want to relax. Maybe they want to get crazy. It's also happening for some people. But if they want to relax, I definitely need to give them more space to relax. I guess from one thing to the other, we are again in the end of this meeting. I had a good time, even while having a heart operation happening on the other side of this planet to my father. And I thank you for being with me, or with us here.
Thank you.